This is Joe Smith from the Midwest Football Podcast. Please remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It all helps us grow our show. Look for our full show, too, anywhere you find podcasts. Links below. Let's go from one storied franchise to another one with a tradition of winning, although they've been doing it kind of backwards to how they normally have done it historically, and that's the Steelers. Over the last couple of seasons, the Steelers love to draft what I call off-ramps. Some kind of viable alternative to paying whoever at a premier position. They just let whoever it is walk for the most part. And then they use their mid-round on their tough guys, and they end up your interior linemen, your linebackers, your defensive tackles, your safeties. And they end up being pretty doggone good because you get some value at those positions late in draft with viable players, where you can't do that with, say, corner, defensive end, quarterback after the first two rounds. They are built the opposite this year, though, because you look at their line, none of them are really that great. Any one of them could be replaced. I'm talking about the offensive line.
Yeah.
You look at defensive ends, decent.
I mean, TJ Watt's a former MVP. He's pretty good.
Yes.
But I don't know who's across.
What else is on the other side, though?
Yep.
Yeah, you're not going to do better than TJ Watt, but it might be time for them to address some of those big guys, especially right tackle, in a meaningful pick in a way that implies that they're going to stick with them.
I agree. And I think that with the extra pick they got from Chase Claypool and the fact that they already, as you alluded to, they've already got their quarterback. Pickett looked good down the stretch. They got receivers. They got Deontay Johnson. They got George Pickens. They even traded nothing to get Allen Robinson. They got Pat Freiermuth. They got Najee Harris. It looks good, but that offensive line, there's no real strong spot in it. And at 17, they're in a position where they're probably going to be getting one of the big six tackles to plug in at right or left tackle. They could get Broderick Jones in there. They could get Darnell Wright. And I think that they're in a great spot for that. And then coming back around at 32, I think they could get one of the centers or a guard or even one of the quote boring, bland, they could get, defensive tackles, and they have a way, or defensive tackles or defensive ends. They have a way of turning these guys into good, solid careers. They don't necessarily they could get like a Lucas Van Ness. He'd be a great 3-4 defensive end that just holds up his own, wrecks havoc, and breaks blocks.
I don't think Lucas Van Ness is going to make it to the Steelers. There's so much hype about him. I think there's a pretty good chance he goes top 10. And if not, probably top 15. I've honestly heard some connection of Van Ness to the Lions at 6. Ooh. Because he, Witherspoon out of Illinois, he's a cliche Lions player. Oh, look how much he loves football. Oh, look how smart he is. Oh, look how tough he is. Oh, look how hard he's going to work.
Look how hard he's going to bite those kneecaps.
Yeah. Hey, watch your kneecaps. Would he be a Steelers player? Probably. You're talking about a player that never started a college game, though. I'm a little bit leery about that. At least at Iowa, he never started.
Well, I mean, they could be in that bland area where they could be going for like BJ Ojulari or Keon White out of Georgia Tech, and Ojulari's out of LSU. And I think they get a lot of guys like that where they're in the first or second round. You never really hear about them for their whole career, and then you look up and you go, "Oh, that guy was in 4 Pro Bowls, and he's a second ballot Hall of Famer." And I think they could turn those guys into that. Like the exact guys I said the Bears should pass on. I think the Steelers love getting those guys who are just solid pro lineman types. And and I think that this is a draft like Chicago that they should be boring with. And I think that whereas I think the Bears should be going for the smaller edge rusher types that get pressure, I think the Steelers, with the TJ Watt already there, I think they can go for more of the bigger guys that just kind of hold up at the point of attack and collapse the pocket. I just think for some reason it just feels more Steelery to me to get the big boys that clog the lanes than the little guys that shoot the gaps.